cold day, but we have a carburetor. Well, let's get the heater box back off, and then we're going to see if the carb I ordered is going to work. Can't be much worse than this one. I had a heck of a time the other day just keeping it running. It's got to be so full of crud. And something that I didn't get on video was when I took the generator apart, I had all kinds of this really gooey, gummy crud in the carburetor and in the fuel system. Even had to flush the tank out. And it's really odd because I use I thought it was good gasoline in them, and just gummed up. And I always run stabilizer too. Okay, so there's a nut on the back side of that carburetor. It's really only two screws here holding this on. They're just not easy to get to. So this one will just turn out. It's not a big carb. It's this little thing. So that's one. And the other one is back here, but I think I can grab a hold of the nut. Good shot of my coconut there. All right. That's not that. There's only two fuel lines. Here's the main coming off of the tank, and then there's the primer. And then there's the throttle linkage. That's connected to the governor over here. So that's going to have to come off. Here's the new carb. Eyeballing it, it's got all the right mounts. See the old carb though, it's got all sorts of adjustments on it. So we might take that out and try to clean it. Fuel lines are going to leak because the shutoff doesn't work real well. I'm going to grab a vice grip. Clamp the fuel line shut. Still going to dribble a little bit, but won't be the end of the world. And I need a pliers. Yeah, the new carb is all just one unit. Doesn't really have any adjustments on it, which I don't know. There's a hose clamp back here. Try not to end up with gas everywhere. There, you kind of failed. leaking. Let's see that. Now there's a bleeder on the bottom for priming the bowl. We can use that to our advantage to drain some of that fuel out of the system. At least drain it out of the bowl. Forgot that was on there. And now I've got a pair of, well, I had a pair of pliers for taking these hoses off. And as luck would have it, this summer I dropped them and they landed just such that, careful here, I'm going to end up with a lap full of gasoline. But the, what do you call it, those fuel line pliers landed in just such a way that it busted one of the ears off of the stupid pliers. They just look like a needle nose. I'm trying to get the fuel line off the back here. I've got another tool for that. It's one of these. It's for vacuum lines too. But you can't always get it in to where you need to work on this little stuff. Yeah. I'd really rather not have to pull the whole side of the okay, we got all the gas out of there. Most of it anyway. Okay, so there's the old carb. It's the original. See, there's flow adjustments here that are not on the new carb. Everything else is the same though. So it just makes me think that they got it just preset. Everything else is where it needs to be. All right, well, I'm gonna come back in just a sec. I gotta take some of this off of here and then we'll see where we're at. We'll be right back. Okay, so part of that's my fault. I thought I hit the button and I didn't hit the button. But we're back. We got the new carb in there. All the brackets lined up, which, okay, we'll take that as somewhat reassuring. You didn't miss much, kind of like, here's a few words you can't say on YouTube kind of thing, because as you're getting at that gas line in the back, was a bit of a trick. And then there's that nut way down in there. Come on, yeah, focus. Down in there. Anyway, that's the other side of the intake. It would be a lot easier to take the muffler off, but you can see that muffler is there. It's kind of a muffler in name only. That'll be the next thing, but those are kind of foolishly expensive from what I've seen. So there's a new carb. It doesn't really have any adjustments on it other than idle speed. So I've got that set back to where it was. Choke linkage works the way it should. That came off the old carb. That fought for a while. That screw was frozen. And normally you'd say, well, just heat it up. Yeah, that's a great idea with something that was full of gasoline. So yeah, I got that out. And well, all right, there's nothing to it here except let's get some fuel back in the system and see if it'll go. Stand by. Okay, so we got fuel primed into it. Give it a little bit of throttle. Ignition's on. And I took the clamp off the fuel line. Let's see what she does. Hey! Well, I think we got a little bit of fine tuning to do here. I got to get the airbox back on. Yeah, I think it's going to work. You know, stuff's got to warm up and just double check everything is tight, but I think we're going to be okay. I was monkeying with the choke, and I kind of had it in the 2/3 open, 3/4 open, whatever that is there. It was running pretty good, and you heard me flip it, take the choke off, and just about killed it. But so yeah, I got to get the idle speed set and probably readjust a couple of these things here for the new carb so that it idles down proper. Yeah, I think we're going to be in good shape. So let's call that a win. It was a new carb, and we'll keep the old one and take that apart and see just how gorpy it is, but it's another battle another day. All right, cool. I'm going to button this up. You guys be careful out there. Peace.